Good evening, viewers. Thank you for joining us. This is an English edition of news from Dalsan TV, Somalia's premier television news network, broadcasting to you the latest news from Somalia and around the world in both English and Somali. My name is Yunus Deko, and these are some of our top stories for today. Somali government claims killing 74 Al-Shabaab fighters in 48 hours. 2 convicted Al-Shabaab operatives executed in Mogadishu. And Coca-Cola unveils its 2022 World Cup anthem. Welcome to this broadcast from Dalsan TV. At least 74 members of the militant group Al-Shabaab have been killed in military operations in parts of Middle Shabelle, according to the Ministry of Information of the Federal Government of Somalia. Positions of the militants were bombarded with support from Somalia's international partners.
The federal government of Somalia said it has conducted operations in collaboration with the National Intelligence Service and international partners, leading to the death of some leaders of the militants Al-Shabaab. The Somali government also said it has destroyed a vehicle carrying military equipment and explosives during operations that lasted 48 hours. The operations took place in the areas of Masajid al-Gudud and Burolo, also known as Dolile, in the Middle Shabelle region.
howlgalka koowaad waxaa la fuliyay maalintii Sabtida ee 22 bisha Oktoobar waxaa lagu beegsaday garaash.
The first operation was carried out on Saturday, October 22nd. They targeted a garage and a house where leaders and militias were meeting. 21 militias were killed, including their leaders, such as Abdullahi Ali Arale. The second operation took place on 23rd, that is yesterday, at 3:30 p.m. and was carried out in the vicinity of Masjid al-Gudud city, which was a special center for Nisa, and killed 11 members of the militant and wounded more than 30 others.
goob si gaar ah bartilmaameed ugu ahayd hay'adda Nisa oo muddo maaragtay ay ku daba jirtay halkaas waxaa lagu haleelay maleeshiyaadkii.
The Somali army also claimed responsibility for operations in Burolo, which is located 10 kilometers west of Al-Gudud Mosque. The claim by the Somali government comes as it intensifies operations in the parts of central and southern Somalia to flush the group from the area. The Somali army, which is getting air and ground support from the many forces combating terrorism in Somalia, has recorded advances since local clan militias started fighting alongside the federal government of Somalia. The government said the recent operations was highly coordinated and made possible by the reliable and actionable intelligence from the National Intelligence and Security Agency NISA with the help of Somalia's international partners. The government has vowed to double efforts aimed at destroying the Somali militant group Al-Shabaab, which has challenged authorities in Mogadishu in a 16-year war. On Sunday, the militants attacked a hotel in the coastal town of Kismayo, killing 9 civilians. A car laden with explosives rammed the gate of the hotel and was followed by an attack claimed by the Al-Shabaab armed group.
Meanwhile, intensive airstrikes have landed in various villages near Masjid al-Gudud, where the Somali army recently liberated following operations aimed at taking control of new areas. Dalsan TV has witnessed helicopters being dispatched targeting positions of fighters of the militant group Al-Shabaab.
A series of intensified airstrikes and heavy artillery targeted the Al-Shabaab militia in various areas of Middle Shabelle on Sunday as the war between the group and the government intensifies. Dalsan TV reporter in the area said helicopters hovered around Masjid al-Gudud, where fighters of the militant group Al-Shabaab and the Somali National Army clashed. Heavy explosion could be heard following the strikes by the Somali National Army and African Union troops, helping their Somali counterparts combat the group. Somali soldiers are aided by the locals who are collaborating with the federal government of Somalia to flush out members of the militants from the area. The airstrikes killed and injured a large number of fighters belonging to the militant group still attempting to advance Masjid Gadoud, where they were recently defeated, according to military sources. Military activities are still going on in parts of central and southern Somalia, where members of the Somali National Army, with the support of the local militia, are fighting to remove Al-Shabaab from villages and towns in the Middle Shabelle. Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Bare recently joined other senior officials of the Somali government in Haran, spearheading efforts to liberate more towns from the group in central Somalia.
ama xoolahoodii iyo hantidoodii ka soo gaadho ha ku burburto runtii waxaan leenahay ilaahay sabir haydan.
The Somali government has renewed the fight against Al-Shabaab since the election of President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. He has promised to squash the group, which has besieged governments in Mogadishu for over 16 years. Recent military operations by the Somali National Army and local allied militias have been described by the U.S. Africa Command as the most strategic and successful operations targeting the group in 5 years. The federal government of Somalia said it has conducted operations in collaboration with the National Intelligence Service and international partners, leading to the death of some leaders of the militant Al-Shabaab. The Somali government also said it has destroyed a vehicle carrying military equipment and explosives during operations that lasted 48 hours.
The Somali military court has executed 2 convicted members and operatives of the militant group Al-Shabaab. The men were tied on a rope and shot by members of the firing squad in accordance with the judgment of the Somali military court. 2 members of the Somali militant group Al-Shabaab were on Monday executed by a firing squad following a ruling by the Somali military court. Shuaib Abdullahi Muhammad and Sadaq Abdi Jabir were convicted for several assassinations in the capital. They were executed in Mogadishu under the supervision of officials of the Somali military court. The 2, known as Ahmed and Qono, codenames they acquired to disguise themselves and operate far away from the eyes of security agencies. According to court papers, the 2 were members of the outlawed group since 2014 and have carried out numerous activities for the militants. Shuaib murdered 4 people, including 3 security officers between 2017 and 2018, while Saddaq killed a government soldier in 2019. Al-Shabaab controls much of the country's southern and central parts, and research published in October by Hiral Institute said the militant raised more cash than the Somali government. As the executions were being carried out on Monday, Al-Shabaab fighters in the port city of Kismayu stormed a hotel on Sunday. At least 9 people are confirmed dead following the jihadist attack on the hotel in the southern city of Somalia. Nearly 50 people have been injured, with authorities warning that the death toll might rise. 3 attackers were killed by the security forces after they rampaged through the hotel in Kismayu, shooting people at random. The 4th died when he blew up his car at the entrance to the hotel. Meanwhile, in visit to Vietnam, UN chief has stressed on the critical need to come together and fight climate crisis. Secretary General Antonio Guterres arrived in Vietnam, where upon arrival he was received by the state's president and later with the general of the Communist Party. He also took part in a ceremony to commemorate the 45th anniversary of Vietnam's membership in the United Nations. In his remarks, the Secretary General said, "We need justice, greater solidarity and greater cooperation, and nowhere do we need it more and more urgently than in our fight against climate crisis." He emphasized that action on loss and damages is a moral imperative that must be front and at the center of the forthcoming COP27 climate conference in Egypt.
Vietnam achieved and in some cases exceeded most Millennium Development Goals. And despite heavy global headwinds, Vietnam is fully committed to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. What a powerful testament to the resilience and hard work of the Vietnamese people and for policies that place people at the heart of development.
And now, on a story about the World Cup, Coca-Cola has unveiled the 2022 anthem for the World Cup. Coca-Cola unveiled its campaign song for the 2022 FIFA World Cup tournament, a new multicultural take on the Queen's famed 1986 hit A Kind of Magic. The Coca-Cola Company and Universal Music Group announced the unveiling of the beverage brand's official FIFA World Cup 2022 campaign anthem that brings a new multicultural reimagining of the iconic song. A Kind of Magic, the song released as part of the Coca-Cola's Believing Magic campaign, is a powerful rework of the 1986 hit, a charismatic collaboration between Egyptian New Soul and rap sensation Faluka Soul, Saudi Arabian singer, songwriter Tam Tam, and Mexican Latin Grammy Award winner Dana Paule. And with that story, we come to the end of this broadcast, an English edition of news from Dalsan TV, Somalia's premier television news network, broadcasting to you the latest news from Somalia and around the world. Keep it Dalsan TV and let us know which team you are supporting during the 2022 World Cup in Qatar.